It's early, but Alex Bregman's got to be disgusted with his first couple of days in Boston. I'm turned off by something Astros manager Joe Espada said at spring training in West Palm Beach. And if you see smoke and fire at a Houston airport in the coming days, relax! Nothing to see here. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like this video and subscribe, please, for my cat. On Twitch at Gallant Says, why not throw a sub my way? On X and Twitter at Gallant Says, Instagram at Sports Gallant, and Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Monday through Friday around 4 p.m. Central Time, or occasionally after major Houston sporting events. Paul, it's 5 o'clock right now. Shut up. It's also available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify, so you can listen to it on the go or after the fact. If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you roast me, I might read it on the show. If you want to cut me off mid-thought, super chat me on YouTube or Twitch. That's the best way to watch this show, in my honest opinion. And I will play this sound from former Houston Texan Wade Smith, who actually told me this once in studio.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
And I'll respond to your comment right away. But I will eventually get to your comments. Just give me some time. If you want to chat amongst yourselves, see the super chat bar to my right. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. You can all talk with one another. Alex Bregman made his own bed with the Boston Red Sox. And look, 3 years, $40 million, and opt out after every single one of those seasons. No one should be crying for him. No one should feel bad for him. But he's got to be embarrassed by what he has seen from the Boston Red Sox over the last couple of days. Yes, an organization that's won 4 World Series since 2004, but an organization that was 81-81 last year. Just a smidge out of 4th place in a tough American League East. You would think that somebody who's won 2 World Series, has been to 4, and has been a part of a run where 8 division titles have been won, would give you quite the leg to stand on when you join the Red Sox clubhouse. You'd also think that, winning a Gold Glove literally last season would make people in your new clubhouse look at you with a modicum of respect. But that's not what we're seeing from the completely unserious Boston Red Sox over the last 24 hours. If you watched yesterday's Gallant Says live show, you saw this from Rafael Devers when he was asked about the possibility of moving from third base to literally any other position. Which you would think, given his struggles at third base and the amount of errors he's committed over the last couple of years, would be something he's open to. Nope, that was not Rafael Devers. Here he is yesterday getting a little testy when asked by Boston media whether or not he would give up third base.
How do you think that's going to work out for you?
No sé, mi posición en la tercera base, no sé qué opinión ellos, como te digo, qué va a pasar, sino mi posición en mi tercera base y no me han dicho nada. Tuvimos una conversación, pero yo le dejé claro lo que quería y no hemos hablado más.
You hear all that in Espanol. I take Duolingo from time to time, but I haven't used it in a good 45 days. Here is an opportunity for Rafael Devers, translator, to say, I will do what's in the best interest of the team. But clearly, Rafael Devers feels like he has a lot of clout in Boston. He did get a $300 million contract. And he is so pissed that the idea of being moved off third base is even being suggested, even though he is, in the grand scheme of things, a nobody compared to Alex Bregman. How many World Series has Rafael Devers won? What has Rafael Devers done since joining the major leagues? I literally have to look this up. Rafael Devers. Has he won a world championship? Serious question. I don't know. He might have been on those Red Sox teams. He has played in a World Series. How about that? A .214 batting average, 3 hits, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored in 5 games in the World Series in his career. Okay, so he's got a ring, but he doesn't have 2. And he hasn't been part of an Astros organization where Alex Bregman has been one of the most important pieces in the clubhouse for a very long period of time. But let's go back to Rafael Devers and his translator getting testy with Boston media about the idea that he gets moved off at third.
Yeah, I mean, third base is my position. It's what I've played. You know, I don't know what their plans are. Like, I know we had a conversation. I made it clear kind of what my desires were. And yeah, whatever happens from here, I don't know.
Whatever happens from here, I don't know. I mean, it's like you're planting the seeds to be traded over something that's so small. Devers, you're known as a hitter, not as a fielder. You know this. Why do you need to keep playing in the field? He's getting asked another question here.
¿Cuál es tu preferencia? O sea, ¿qué tú deseas que pase en términos de...
Look at the look on his face. Like, how disgusted he is. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, I mean, look how pissed he is.
Tu posición.
Bueno, yo juego tercera base, yo no juego más otra posición. Mi posición es tercera, de ahí para allá no sé qué ellos van a decidir. No controlo lo que ellos vayan a hacer. Sino mi posición es tercera y ahí que estoy ready todos los días de dar lo mejor de mí en lo que pueda y ya.
Yeah, no, like I said before, like my position is third base. I don't know how they want to go about it or what they want to do, but I know that that's the position I get ready to play every day. And it's just, you know, it's just my position.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No.
Can you translate that, please?
How do you feel like...
I mean, what an asshole. Seriously, that's all I can say. And it's funny. I mean, that interaction is really funny. But, I mean, how entitled are you? And, I mean, look at the shape he's in. I'm in better shape than him. I can definitely say that. There's an entitlement with this guy. And, dude, I get that you won a World Series on a team that Mookie Betts was the leader of back in 2018. But, bro, this is how you want to come across when a real winner is joining your clubhouse? And, look, Bregman's new to this, so Bregman's he's going to be careful, I think, with how he engages with this. But if you're Alex Bregman, just from this, you should be pissed off. Even though it was portrayed that you would be playing second base. Now, all of a sudden, he's in the building, and Alex Cora's talking about moving him to second. And, of course, Cora's going to have some preferential treatment for Bregman, which will rub some players in the Red Sox clubhouse the wrong way. But here's the thing. Who fucking cares what the Red Sox have to say? Who cares? What have you done? None of you matter. The Red Sox are irrelevant right now. And really, in my lifetime, from 2004 to 2018, how many times could you say that? Hell, from the late 90s to 2018, how many times could you say that? Not very often. And all of a sudden, these guys have all sorts of fucking attitude, and it blows my mind. And that's just Devers. Can you believe there's other players in the Red Sox clubhouse who are actually saying, yeah, I think Devers should do what he says he wants to do. Here's more from somebody named Tristan Casas. I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. He's Gen Z. Born in 2000. Oh, he played at American Heritage High School. Fuck that high school. We played against them in sports from time to time. Big guy, 6'5", 244. And his career batting average is 250 with an OPS of 830. He's got 42 home runs over the course of his career. This guy is actually a nobody, at least compared to Alex Bregman. But here's what this clown, to be perfectly honest, had to say when asked about the idea of Rafael Devers moving off of third base, which, again, like, I just can't believe that people are looking at Bregman like he's nothing coming into this organization, which he is gracing with his presence to make it better.
I think it's Rafi Devers' position. I think he's the third baseman, and at that point, that's where it stands. And he's done it for a really long time now, and I think he's only getting better at that position.
Well, he's been so fucking bad at it, you'd hope he would. And yeah, I'm outraged on behalf of Alex Bregman here. I saw a video posted by Made the Cut. It's titled, Rafael Devers is Delusional, and it's going to hurt the Red Sox badly if you want to watch it for yourself. There's a clip in this 3-minute video where whoever runs this account just lays out how bad Devers has been defensively over the course of his career. Again, this is from Made the Cut on YouTube.
Since they started tracking outs above average back in 2016, which to me is among the current highest resolution fielding stats we have, Bregman has ranked 6th among all third basemen with an impressive total of 28. Who are a few notable guys he's ranked ahead of? How about Manny Machado, Josh Donaldson, and Evan Longoria, all guys who were seen in their heydays as truly productive fielders. This also included a 91st percentile performance in this regard last season with the mark of 6. Now, where do you think Devers has landed in this regard? Try dead last. That's
dead last! He's awful!
Right, nobody has been worse, with his career total of -28 being a full 7 worse than the next closest on the list, Michael Franco. And what's more, there was no positive improvement last season either, as his OAA of -6 had him in just the 8th percentile league-wide. This is also the 5th straight season that he's posted an OAA in the negative numbers. We literally have a top 10 active fielding third baseman coming off of a gold glove, potentially being forced to switch positions to accommodate the worst fielder at his respective position in Major League Baseball going back almost 10 seasons.
That's insane! And he wants to stay because of some sort of ego or honor. And if you're Bregman, aren't you second-guessing this decision to leave the Astros right now? Forget the money. Do you want to play for an organization where you got guys that want this guy to keep playing third base? You were 81-81 last year. You fucking sucked. They were awful. Here's more from Tristan Casas defending the idea of Rafael Devers playing third base.
I think his defense is getting better every single year. We don't know what the future holds, but we know it holds Rafi Devers. So I think he's got to play defense. It's going to keep him athletic, and he's going to hit because of, him being at third base.
So many things to dissect there. Let's go back here and play all of that again, because Jesus Christ, I'm just getting pissed off listening to this guy talk.
Holds, but we know it holds Rafi Devers.
We don't know what the future holds, but we know it holds Rafi Devers. What? Is he immortal? Doesn't look that with this paunch. And Casas keeps speaking here. Listen to this.
So I think he's got to play defense. It's going to keep him athletic.
That's like saying if Devers keeps playing defense, it'll keep him in shape because he's a fatty boombatty, and that's what he is. He needs to play defense to stay in shape. What in the fuck are we talking about here? I can't believe that they are defending him like this.
And he's going to hit because of, you know, him being at third base. He doesn't know any other position. He doesn't
designated hitter. I think he knows that one.
Want to play any other position, and he's going to fight for it, even if it's with any of the younger guys, any new guy.
The new guy just won the Gold Glove. How is he going to fight for it? Because he's clearly not going to do a good job. You saw some of the highlights right there in that video put together by Made the Cut. He's not going to do it in the field.
I mean, I think he's the best third baseman in the league. I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take anybody over him. So I think he should play third base. Yeah.
I think he should play third base. I wouldn't take anyone over him. As that guy just laid out, he's the worst third baseman over the last decade.
I think Bregman should play second. Rafa plays third.
I think Bregman should play second base. Yeah. I think he's going to make the transition well. I think
he has to transition after winning a Gold Glove because he's won a Gold Glove, and Devers clearly not capable of doing that.
Athletic enough to, and I think Trevor, you know, is going to play an awesome shortstop.
Unbelievable. It's Tristan Casas again, and he wasn't done. He doubled down in an interview that he did with the New England Sports Network with Tom Caron and Lou Merloni. I just can't believe how embarrassing the Red Sox are being right now. I'm flabbergasted, and I'm glad I no longer root for them. And for those who don't know, I grew up in Massachusetts. I hated the way that the Red Sox always slandered guys when things didn't go their way, specifically after 2011. No matter how bad that collapse was down the stretch in 2011, it did not merit Terry Francona getting smeared. Nomar Garcia Parr didn't deserve to get smeared on his way out of town. Pedro Martinez didn't deserve to get smeared on his way out of the town. The Patriots never deserved to get smeared through the fucking Boston Globe the way that the Red Sox always found ways to do, because they were jealous that once the Patriots started winning, even though the Red Sox were good, people cared more about the Patriots and more about football because it was the greatest run ever. But that's neither here nor there. No one outside of Boston cares about that. Here's more Tristan Casas delusionally defending the idea of Rafael Devers, who's a fucking terrible third baseman, continuing to play third base on the New England Sports Network.
We mentioned Bregman. He's going to make this team better defensively wherever he is. And we don't know where that'll be. Could be second, could be third. We heard Rafael Devers yesterday say, I want to be at third base. That's my position. What was your reaction when you heard that?
I completely agreed with him. I think that he's the third baseman of this franchise for the time, you know, a long time to come. And he's...
For the time, ... for a long time to come. He's got to have thought about what he said and realized that there's a very good chance that this is going to resolve itself no matter what he says to defend his teammate. I don't understand why you would answer questions this way when a guy has just been brought into your clubhouse who you expect to be a major part of what you do.
I don't know if there's a third baseman in the league that I would take over him. And
except for like all the defensive ones better. You can say he's a good hitter without saying he's a great third baseman, and he's not even like average at third base.
And his defense is constantly getting better every single year.
Because it can only get better.
That was the knock when I came up, that he was bad defensively.
It's still fucking bad.
And then I see him come and make some barehanded plays, pick it in the bag, diving all over, rolling bodies, throwing from his butt. I mean, he's just all over the place. And
in a bad way.
Yeah, he'll boot a routine play, and I think that's why he gets docked so heavily. But he plays hard, and he really sets the tone out there at third base.
Yeah, how do you set the tone at third base when you boot the ball from time to time, like Casas just admitted?
And I want him on that position this year and for the next 10 as well. We'll see how the legs hold up. If the bats, you know,
I don't think the legs will hold up. Look at his weight.
Enough to, but man, I think for this year, I think it makes the most sense.
Unbelievable. I don't believe this. This is such an unserious operation, and this is what Bregman joined. And you know what? If you are an Astros fan, yeah, you can't sit back and laugh at this. The Red Sox guys, they are one of the worst fielding teams that has ever been assembled over the last couple of years. They have been towards the top of baseball. I think ranked second overall in total errors the last 2 years. There's even a highlight reel of all their bloopers from 2023 on YouTube. I'm just going to play this in the background. Look at this. I mean, routine throw from second to first. I mean, maybe that's a reason Bregman should play at second base. but this reel is long. And I remember so many moments from that season where I'd see accounts that I follow from Boston just showing some of the embarrassing shit that the Red Sox were doing defensively. They have been one of the worst teams defensively in baseball over the last couple of years. You bring in a guy to change at least that side of things, and immediately your first reaction, being on an 81-81 team last year, is to say, no, let's maintain the status quo with the fat guy playing third base who's not even a good third baseman. Like, the balls of these guys. No one in Boston cares about the Red Sox anymore. That's another thing that's sort of slipped through the cracks, at least to the degree that they used to. It is not the religious experience that it used to be. And these guys aren't even playing for a team that was good. These aren't the 2018 world champs. These definitely aren't the 2004 world champs, which could do no wrong in that town and also won a World Series a couple of years later. You were 81-81 last year. Where do you get off acting like, yeah, we got to respect our demands? You want to maintain the status quo as part of that fucking losing that you guys have been doing? Because 81-81 in Boston, that is losing. That's not acceptable in a sports town that actually gives a shit. I can't believe that this is the way that they're operating. I, to a degree, feel bad for Bregman, and he made his own bet here. He left a professional operation in the Houston Astros for this. But, I mean, this is how they're handling it the first couple of days. The mere possibilities that they would upgrade themselves or at least be having a competition to give themselves the best fielding team they possibly can, it's too much for these fucking children. Unserious children. What a joke of an organization. And if you're a Red Sox fan, and I know a lot of Red Sox fans, I don't know how you tolerate this. This is pathetic. What do? Do you trade Rafael Devers? I think you've put yourself in a position that you didn't think you were putting yourself in. By signing Alex Bregman, you have somehow created a mini revolt for a team that is clearly not going to prioritize doing anything they can to win next year. I'm blown away by this. So there you go, guys. There's my I can't believe Alex Bregman has to put up with this shit rant. If you want to jump in, you can on Instagram at SportsGallant. Avi Lieberman, the comedian, makes this joke again. Paul, I said it before. Now that Bregman has joined Hamas, he calls the Red Sox Hamas, he can't complain that things will not be run appropriately. On Facebook, Daniel Oliveras makes a couple of comments. Devers isn't moving easily. Red Sox have a solution of just putting Bregman at shortstop and Story at second base. Otherwise, Red Sox chemistry is in trouble, for sure. Devers is a hell of a hitter. He is bad defensively, as in one of the worst. More comments. Daniel Oliveras says, the guy's delusional, saying Devers is the best third baseman. He said it multiple times. He doubled down on it. I mean, first he did it at a podium, and then after the fact, he did it in an interview with team employees, essentially, at NESN. They work for the Red Sox at NESN. That network owns that station. Anyway, that's a lot of Red Sox talk. I suppose that we can turn the page from Alex Bregman and start focusing on the Astros themselves. They are at spring training. Joe Espada, manager of the Houston Astros, has been saying some interesting things over the last couple of days. Here he is yesterday talking about a rally of sorts that he had to pump the team up for this season. Joe Espada giving motivational quotes out. Here is Espada.
We, just a little rally the troops message there. We had a really good conversation. We went over things that 2024, some challenges to the organization as a whole, how we're going to address those. We had a little fun with the group also. So I'm excited about 2025.
What kind of fun do you think they had? What kind of fun do you think they had? I am curious about that. Pizza party. I know that they, to celebrate Isaac Paredes' birthday, they brought in a mariachi band. But Joe Espada rallying the troops. doesn't exactly inspire me as a rally the troops kind of guy. I don't really buy into that idea. Maybe he is. Fuck if I know. I imagine the message he's told the team is, hey, defensively, be better, and offensively, be a little bit more patient. How do you compare a Joe Espada speech to some of the other ones that we've seen over the last 24 hours? This is Eagles left tackle Lane Johnson before Super Bowl licks in an address that he had with the Eagles where they all stood around in a circle and all basically took turns giving little pep talks before the big game, which they ultimately smoked the Philadelphia Eagles in.
And they're going to get fucked up tomorrow. So just remember the shirts they had on their parade a few years ago. Keep that in mind as y'all keep annihilating his ass tomorrow. So
a lot of cusses in just 11 seconds. And Lane Johnson strikes me as someone who would actually get me pumped up. But yeah, there's a video on YouTube and it shows a bunch of Eagles players and they're all giving pep talks. I was surprised to see just the amount of guys who spoke. Because after a certain point, like if you take a look at this right now, there's got to be a moment where the best players on the Eagles are like, hey, do we all need to talk here? So Nick Sirianni's speech is, of course, speaks. Of course, the head coach needs to talk. There's Lane Johnson. He speaks for a while. Zach Bond, the linebacker, speaks. Okay. I mean, he's a good player. Nakobe Dean is injured. He speaks. He's on crutches there. Darius Slay, Jordan Mailata. You've got A.J. Brown. You've got, after that, Saquon Barkley. Obviously, he's got to speak. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Brandon Graham, of course, won that last Super Bowl with the Eagles by, not the one, of course, the first one against the Chiefs, but with the strip sack of Brady, Jalen Hurts. So you got a bunch of guys in a circle talking, and it's good that the Eagles actually won the Super Bowl so they can release this. But I always wonder about like what a rally speech does. How many times does it actually motivate you? And I ask that because it can also backfire. Here is Micah Shrewsbury, the head coach of North Carolina, after a loss last night for his very much struggling Fighting Irish.
Big picture, like you're sitting at 10-10 a couple weeks ago. Obviously, the last 2 weeks haven't gone the way you guys have done. Like, what have you felt like have been the biggest issues in the past 5 games?
I don't know, man. We're gonna keep fighting. That's it. As a group, as a team, we're going to keep fighting, right? We're going to keep trying to get back to the drawing board. We're going to keep trying to guard people. We're going to keep trying to score people. And we're playing good people, too, right? But I know these guys aren't going to quit. No, they're not going to quit, right?
Pretty tame at this moment in time. Very tame start to this speech. But once Shrewsbury gets going, good God, he gets going.
And I understand that, like, I don't understand that a lot of people have quit on us. And well-deserved. If you hate me, absolutely, man. Great. If you think I suck, if you think I can't coach, I'm with you, man. Good. Good for you, because you're allowed to have opinions. If you think I should be fired, good for you. You're allowed to have opinions, right? A lot of people have given up on this team. They've given up on me. I don't really give a damn. I believe in myself, and I believe in these guys, okay? So, like, don't give up on these guys. Don't give up on these kids. If you don't want to show up because of me, don't show up because of me, because you think I suck. Cool. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I know people believe in me, right? I know people at Notre Dame believe in me. But, don't give up on these kids, man. What have they done for people to give up on them? I know if you're not with us because we're losing, you don't want to come watch this, fine. Fine.
Well, that's how it generally works, Mr. Shrewsbury. But look, he's defending his players to this point. Unfortunately, the speech just gets out of control for him a little bit later.
But do it because of me then. But not these kids, man. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. Like, ain't nobody else getting home at 5 a.m. from Boston College and going to class the next day and coming to practice and working out and preparing to play Louisville. Nobody else is doing that. Don't give up on these kids, man. I don't care about anybody's opinion. I know who I am. I know I can coach basketball, and I know I'm turning this program around. So you gave up on me already? I'm going to see you back here. I don't give a damn.
Now he's starting to get a little bit aggro here. Justin Singleton comments, sounds like Bobby Sluck in the locker room to this point. Yeah, I think so. I think Bobby did get to a point where he started blaming himself for everything.
Don't give up on these kids, because we're going to get this thing rolling.
He's been saying the same thing over and over again. Just don't give up on the kids. And again, to this point, he hasn't screwed up, though it's starting to get a little bit more aggressive.
I sat there and watched more Louisville fans in here than Notre Dame people. And that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for me, because I'm the head coach here. And yes, I got us in this predicament. But don't come back when we're losing or when we're winning.
Oh, no, he fucked up. Don't come back when we're losing. Well, yeah, they're not going to. Don't come back when we're winning. And I think this moment right there led to the way that he ended this press conference.
We're turning this around, man. You better believe that. Everybody that gave up on me, believe it. Write this date down and believe it. Because we're going to get this thing rolling. I don't care if you gave up on me or not.
He just knocks the microphone over. It was just so aggressive out of nowhere. We'll see how things go for him. I think Joe Espada would be more likely to motivate me than Micah Shrewsbury at Notre Dame. I had no idea Notre Dame even had a new head coach. I thought the guy that kind of looks like the Penguin was still running the show there. For those who don't know, Mike Bray used to coach the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and he does look a little bit like the Colin Farrell version of the Penguin. That's at least how I feel. Maybe you see something else. Definitely less hideous than the Colin Farrell version of the Penguin. But that was Micah Shrewsbury. Good for him. I mean, he just had his Denny Green moment. I hope he has better moments as an actual coach so that we can come back to this and say, like, this was the moment where Notre Dame turned it all around. Honestly, in times like this, you need a real professional to give you a pep talk, to give you a rally. And, maybe Joe Espada can't do it, but you know who can? The guy who has just gone back in time over the course of this year, who all of a sudden is like old Rick Pitino again. Have you guys been paying attention to Rick Pitino at St. John's? So St. John's has been having a very good year, and I think Rick Pitino just took over for the now 10th ranked team in the country. They just beat Creighton. How many games in a row have they won? Because they did lose to Villanova recently, but they had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row before losing to Villanova. They've won 11 of 12, and they're 22-4 on the year. I mean, this is the best St. John's has been in a really long time. And I mean, Rick Pitino has definitely had some off the court demons that led to him having to leave Louisville. He's been doing a hell of a job. I mean, he just took this thing over in 2023. So a clip of him giving a halftime speech to his players at St. John's, he went all out at halftime. In case you missed it, like, this is the kind of rally speech we want from Joe Espada.
Dig in and be a basketball player. Dig in. Every time you miss a shot, your game deflates. We don't care about your missed shots. Play defense. You guys keep blowing opportunity upon opportunity upon opportunity. You're like children with bad things happening.
He's saying this to a 22-4 team. I love it.
Instead of digging in and be tougher, you wilt. Where is your toughness? Where have you guys been raised that you're so weak mentally that you just give up when something doesn't go right for you? Don't you know what adversity is all about? That's the game of life, not the game of basketball. You don't get down when things go wrong. You dig in and get tougher. Your whole life's gonna be adversity. Learn how to deal with it.
Patino, Red.
God damn. I gotta watch this documentary. Patino, Red Storm Rising. I guess it's a Vice Sports documentary. Holy shit. I mean, that almost felt like Tony D'Amato, Al Pacino's character, in Any Given Sunday. I'm impressed. Rick Pitino is back, guys. Absolutely back. Some comments here. These are just rando questions. Justin Singleton says we need the Jaguars coach to give us a Duval to rally the troops. I don't think that was as bad as everyone made it out to be. Also, Run, It's Godzilla says, nice name. What's a decent nickname for Dyken Park? The Freeze Box? How about Enron Field? How about the Juice Box? I don't want to change it. I refuse to call it anything else. Dyken? What the hell is Dyken? It's not even American. Some Japanese air conditioning. I thought this was America. You can get out. Anyway, more from Joe Espada. This was an interesting line that he said after talking about the rally that he put together with Astros players as they look ahead to this season. I totally disagree with it. In fact, it makes me mad.
We did not, finish the race the way we wanted to, but we ran a really strong race, and I think I want our players to be proud of 2024.
What the fuck? Joe, you want them to be proud of 2024. They had a horrible start to the year, and they lost to the fucking Tigers in a 2-game series, both of which were played at home, where they scored no runs and saw their ace wilt in a big spot. I think they could be proud of the way that they handled the slow start and overcame the slow start and overcame the massive division deficit. But the 2024 Astros should be proud at 88-73 and losing like that. Fuck that. Like, we have standards here, and like that's good for Boston. Honestly, I think a lot of Red Sox players would accept that. Oh yeah, we made it to the wild card, because clearly they're an unserious operation. Just taking a look at all the bullshit that Tristan Casas said. If you missed that earlier, go back and check it out on YouTube or on Twitch or on the podcast after the fact. But what are we doing where we're proud of 2024? Fuck that. That's just lame. 12-24 after the first 36 games. 10 games back in the American League West, June 18th. Took them until June 26th to get to 500. Fuck that. Yeah, being proud of that, I hate that. So at the very least, I hope that message from Joe Espada was privately rejected, if not someone standing up and saying, fuck that. We should be embarrassed about that last year. That's not who we are. That's beneath us. Having to play in the fake first round of the playoffs. Because the real first round of the playoffs is the American League Championship Series. And technically the Astros didn't even make the play-in tournament, which is the divisional series. Some comments here on YouTube. Run It's Godzilla says, yeah, the Dyken Park sucks. I just don't want to rename it. Call me a traditionalist. I like to say lazy. Big Balls Squad 2021 says, do you like Heinz Field, how they still have the ketchup box red zone after Heinz Field was changed? I mean, it's not that I have some sort of loyalty to Minute Maid or anything like that. I just, Like, oh, wow, we named the park something brand new after another sponsorship because this sponsor offered a lot more money than the previous sponsor did. But clearly not enough to keep Alex Bregman around, you know? Justin Singleton says, get Bagwell out of the front office because that's definitely not a championship mindset. I think Joe Espada is just trying to be nice. But don't say that shit. Do not say be proud of 2024. We have higher standards here, and I like looking at the Astros through the lens of a elitist asshole, personally. I think most Astros fans do. We still have that for a little bit, you know? I mean, they did win the World Series 2 years ago, but this year they actually got to get back to it. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do that without Alex Bregman and without Kyle Tucker. One last thing I wanted to get to but before we wrap this show up. It's been a rough beginning of 2025 for the airline industry. I don't know how many people saw that Trump fired hundreds of FAA employees late last night. So things might be a little more slow at the airport in the coming days. You also have, and this isn't exactly as important, but Southwest Airlines is slashing 15% of its corporate workforce. They fired 1,750 employees. I think these are all Dallas-based jobs. This is the first mass layoffs Southwest has had in their company history. And then on top of that, I don't know how many people saw this, but you have this Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis to Toronto that incredibly landed like this and no one died. I mean, Jesus Christ. 18 people got hurt. I think 2 are in serious condition. But I mean, that's almost a reenactment of the movie Flight. You know, the one where Denzel Washington gets drunk and apparently flies a plane upside down. So, a lot of crazy shit's going on in the airline industry, but don't be nervous. Don't be scared with all these airline crashes with a United Airlines engine on the runway at George Bush catching fire. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared of, in Seattle, a Alaska Airlines plane clipping another plane and taking out the rudder at the back. Don't worry. Don't be scared if over the next couple of days at Bush Airport, this happens to you. This story is a tad terrifying. From KHOU, the headline reads, if you see smoke and flames coming from Bush Airport, don't be alarmed. It's only a drill. According to a post from Bush Airport, the Houston Fire Department is conducting training at the big airport. I'm just going to read this. Written by Randy Klein on the KHOU website. If you're flying in or out of Bush Airport this week, you may see something a little unsettling, especially considering recent events at other airports. Oh, you think fire and smoke might be unsettling? But airport officials say it's nothing to worry about. It's only a drill. I mean, that gives them plausible deniability. What are we doing here? I don't want to know about this. Bush Airport posted a message on their social media account yesterday saying the Houston Fire Department is conducting safety drills and training. If you're at or around the airport, you may see emergency vehicles there and may see smoke and flames. Bush Airport didn't give specific days or times for the drills. Maybe they should, because honestly, I'm just as likely to believe that some shit went down as I am to believe that just routine training exercises are taking place. This KHOU article lists the Delta jet that flipped over, the tragic American Airlines jet that collided with a helicopter in D.C. But don't worry. Because if you're at George Bush Intercontinental Airport and you see this, it's fine. This is fine. There's nothing wrong if flames and smoke are visible. Justin Singleton says, makes me feel like I need to start taking the train. Woof. Seth Nicholson says, jumping in late, going to catch up. You're the man, Paul. Well, I appreciate that. And that is going to wrap up today's edition of the Gallant Says podcast. We tried to do this at 4 o'clock Central Time. Had to do some things after work today, so didn't get started until 5. It is live at YouTube, at Paul Gallant. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you're your first-time discoverer and you enjoy the ranting and yelling, it's on Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a sub if you're more of a Twitcher. Saw Largo stop on by. Wonder if you got kicked out of our ESPN 97.5 Twitch today. You could join on X or Twitter at Gallant Says. You should follow me on that because that's generally where I write things. You can also follow on Instagram at Sports Gallant or on TikTok at Gallant Says. You can actually watch this show on Instagram at Sports Gallant. It's also on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Shout out to Daniel Oliveira holding it down on Facebook. It's available after the fact wherever you get your podcast. So if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review me on Apple and Spotify. If you roast my ass, I will read it. Until tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time, so long, farewell, and have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. Peace!